In the year 2009, 458 was the total number of deaths by homicide in Chicago, Illinois. Of those, 369 of them took place outdoors. And of those, 125 deaths were due to street gang altercations. But 23 of those deaths were from the ages of 14 to 16, and this is according to the murder analysis of the murder totals in the city of Chicago. Of those 23 deaths in 2009, one would shake the world in hope of a change. One afternoon on September 24th, 2009, a street brawl broke out in the front of the Agape Community Center on 111th Street in the Roseland neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. School let out at Fanger Academy, a high school in Cook County, when two students who attended that were said to be neighborhood rivals ignited the street brawl. Surveillance footage from the community center and cell phone footage were released and shown all over the news and the internet that shook the country when the brawl resulted in the tragic loss of 16-year-old Derrion Albert. Derrion was a bright young man, born and raised on the south side where he lived with his mother, Anjanette Albert, grandfather, Norman Galladay, and his younger sister. The high school sophomore attended Fanger Academy, where he was an honors student, an athlete, and a friend to many. I strongly advise to not seek out for the video. It is graphic and pretty heartbreaking, but I do want to take some time to explain what happened in the video and why it was so triggering for many. This is from the cell phone footage that was recorded and released online. The 2-minute and 50-second video was taken by a bystander that showed a very violent street brawl. Derrion was an innocent bystander, shown caught in the midst of the multiple fights when a man in red swings a wooden plank, striking the back of Derrion's head. He suffered from more blows to his body, being kicked in the torso, his back, and more to the head, all in the first 50 seconds of the video. When Derrion is revealed again in the clip, he is seen standing in an attempt to recover from previous hits that he took and is struck again by the same man in red, sending him back to the ground. With one arm out in front of him, Derrion was trying to protect himself when he is rushed by a group of men almost immediately after. Again, he was hit in the head, he was stumped, and aggressively attacked. His body was motionless in 1 minute and 10 seconds of the video. We can see that he is being carried by his friends, who are crying and screaming his name, and they drag him to the back door of a building. More people are rushing in, and you can hear a woman screaming for an ambulance and a man screaming, "We have someone dying in here." Derrion suffered from abrasions and bruises to his face, lips, hands, chest, abdomen, and back, according to his autopsy report. He was later pronounced dead due to cerebral hemorrhage, which is caused by bleeding of the brain due to blunt force trauma. So basically, the blood vessels in his brain ruptured, leading to his death to be ruled homicide. I just want to take a moment to break down how fast this happened. Derrion was initially struck within the first 42 seconds of the video. His second hit came 4 seconds later, and then he was attacked by a group of men 6 seconds after that. 10 seconds went by, and Derrion is hit again and then attacked immediately after, leading to his last moments. A few public figures took time to post videos not only to send their love and condolences to Derrion Albert's family, but in plea for a change to take place within the community.
We lost a young man who was an honor roll student. I'm sure probably had a bright future. And basically what I'm here to say is, I'm not really here to preach much. I just want to say, y'all, as young people, it's time for us to step up and take on responsibility. It's time for us to understand our role in life and understand that we are the next generation. It's time for us to go to school, get our educations.
The tragic event of Derrion Albert changed the way that music was glorified, Rapper Nas, well known for his debut album Illmatic, had an interview with Don Lemon that aired on CNN in regards of his lyrics about violence after writing an open letter that was ignited by the beating of Derrion just 4 days after his passing.
So listen to a clip from the 1999 rap album Nostradamus. It's by the artist Nas. Take a listen. Shoot 'em up, just shoot 'em up, what? At that. Now, I want you to listen to what Nas had to say following the videotape beating of Chicago honor student Derrion Albert. He says, in what's called an open letter to young warriors in Chicago.
It was clear that this incident woke a lot of people up, and rightfully so. Only 5 days had passed when the suspects were found and taken into custody. Eugene Bailey, Eugene Riley, Sylvanus Shannon, Napoleon Colbert, and Eric Carson, who was just 16 but still tried as an adult, were all charged with the beating of Derrion Albert. Colbert was sentenced to 32 years in prison, as well as Shannon and Riley, while Carson was sentenced to 26 years. However, Eugene Bailey's charges were later dropped, and another name came up as a suspect who was a minor at the time and couldn't be named for that reason. The minor, who was just 14 at the time of the crime, served time in a juvenile detention center until he was 19 years old. In result of this, he was released with the agreement that he would serve a 30-year sentence had he been arrested again, which was also known as the extended juvenile jurisdiction. This means a juvenile designated to be the subject to juvenile disposition and an adult sentence imposed by the court. 7 years after Derrion's tragic passing, that minor had a name: Deontay Johnson. Deontay was considered the one to be responsible for the hit that, quote, signed Derrion's death certificate. Shortly after his release from the extended juvenile jurisdiction, Deontay would be back in court for another crime, eluding from the police with a loaded weapon. Not too long after, Cook County voters elected Kim Foxx to her first term as state's attorney of Chicago. Many may recognize her from handling the 2019 Jussie Smollett case. Foxx had been supervising the convictions of the Derrion Albert case before winning the state's attorney race. Once elected, Derrion's mother, Anjanette, and grandfather, Norman Galladay, would get a call from the juvenile court building for a meeting stating that Kim Foxx decided not to pursue the motion. In her words, based on a Class 4 felony, it was not in the interest of justice to pursue a 30-year sentence and recommended probation instead. In remembrance of beloved Derrion Albert, 111th Street was renamed as Honorary Derrion J. Albert Way, just the same year of Deontay Johnson's criminal reappearance. Anjanette Albert shared her unpleasant experience that she had regarding Kim Foxx and her inability to follow the promises that were previously made before her entering into office.
I felt like she sat in our face, she cried with us, she hugged us, and then you turn around and you let this murderer, I don't care how old he is, he was convicted of first-degree murder. My son is not here anymore. And she gave us all this hope, and she promised us that this was going to be okay, and it didn't turn out like that.
Just a few years back in 2019, 10 years after the passing of Derrion Albert, Deontay Johnson is back on the news for running from law enforcement for the second time with a loaded weapon. The judge who handled his court hearing reviewed his criminal past, and the then 24-year-old was ordered to be held without bond. Now, I've been doing some research based on any information following his arrest. However, this was in 2019, and shortly after, coronavirus took the world by storm, causing a pandemic that literally put the globe on pause. I'm more than sure that all of the postponed cases are finally picking back up, but I was unable to find any updates. Derrion was loved by many, with close to 1,000 friends, family, and people in the community showing up to his funeral. Reverend R. Sharpton even made an appearance. Along with it being Derrion Albert's funeral, it also felt like it was a peace rally at the same time to just bring awareness to the community and find a way to make a change. Amina Matthews, a leader of Ceasefire, which is a group of activists that fight for safety and change in the community, helped Anjanette plan the funeral for Derrion and to have him set to be buried next to his grandmother. Today, Anjanette uses her voice, her pain, and her son's story to spread awareness of the ongoing violence in the community and to remind us to be aware that the choices we make don't just affect ourselves, they affect everyone around us as well. They affect the people who we love, the people who love us, and the people who have no clue who you are. Be mindful in how those choices can alter the lives of others, because while some are blessed with another day to redeem themselves, others may not be awarded that same luxury. If you felt connected to this video and want to see more like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And please know that your feedback is welcomed here on 3 conditions. Keep it positive, spread love, and let's keep spreading information. Thank you all for joining me. Until next time on Soft Voice, Strong Message.